Hi, I'm Stu from HiveMind Automation and welcome to the Hive. In this video, we're going to take a look at this Eve Energy smart plug. As always, we'll look around the outside of the box, we'll take it out of the box, and we're going to take a look at pairing with the native app. Now, as it stands right now, the Eve ecosystem doesn't yet play nicely with Home Assistant, but that is all bound to change with Matter. So for today, we'll just be looking at using Eve Energy in both HomeKit and the native Eve for HomeKit app. And in a future video, we'll be going through updating the firmware to support Matter and pairing it to Home Assistant using Matter. So while I roll the intro, why don't you take a moment to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when I release new videos each week. While you're at it, if you like what I do here and you want to help to support the channel, there's affiliate links in the video description to a bunch of home automation gadgets, including the Eve Energy, and other ways to support the channel, like signing up for NordVPN using my affiliate link, or supporting the channel directly through my Buy Me a Coffee link. With all of that out of the way, let's get started. So I picked up this Eve Energy smart plug from Amazon for $55 Australian, making it by far the most expensive smart plug that I own. But the reason that I spent that extra money on this smart plug is twofold. Firstly, this is, at least as far as I know, one of the only thread-enabled smart plugs available right now. Now, being mains powered, it should also help me to add more accessories to my thread mesh network by extending it. And being thread, it should also mean that the latency will be fairly minimal because of the low latency of the thread network. The second reason I picked this up is that Eve Home announced earlier in November that this would be one of the very first accessories to receive the firmware update to support the Matter standard, and that firmware update is due out on the 12th of December 2022, and they've even demonstrated an Eve Energy with Matter support being controlled from multiple ecosystems at the Matter launch event, demonstrating the multi-admin function of the Matter standard. So, being the most expensive smart switch in my smart home, is it actually going to be any good? To answer that question, let's start by taking a look around the outside of the box. And on the front, we've got Eve Energy, smart plug-in power meter, and a picture of the unit. It works with Apple HomeKit, and there's this claim here that says 100% privacy, which I will say does seem like a risky claim to make. On the right side of the box, we see some of the details here. We've got a 220 to 230 volt max 10 amp for 2300 watts indoor use only. That's interesting because most houses in Australia will run their electricity at around 240 volts for 2.4 kilowatts at 10 amps. So I don't think we'll have a problem, but I don't want to put any heavy loads like ceramic heaters or those kinds of things on this particular smart switch. Also have here that there's a convenient onboard button. We'll check out that a little later on. And there's secure remote access, which requires a home hub. On the back, we've got a couple of illustrations about how it can be used, including triggering with Siri or using the app, and the text that says, switch your devices using Siri or the app, use built-in schedules to reliably switch on and off automatically, understand your energy consumption over time, and easy setup, direct connection, no bridge required. And for some requirements, we've got iPhone or iPad with the latest version of iOS or iPadOS, And controlling this HomeKit accessory automatically and away from home requires a HomePod or an Apple TV 4th generation or later as a home hub. We've got the Eve logo here, the 100% privacy claim again, and a link to evehome.com/privacy, and it says no Eve Cloud, no registration, and no tracking. And these two logos in the bottom right, we've got Bluetooth and built on thread. On the other small edge of the box, we've got a picture of the app, and that you can download it on the App Store, and there's the app logo so you know which one to choose. There's some fine print and a serial number on the bottom of the box, not really anything too exciting there. And on the top of the box, we've just got designed in Germany. So with the outside of the box covered off, let's open it up and see whether it's worth the money that we paid. So I'll start by just using the tip of a screwdriver to cut these plastic dots at the short edges of the top of the box. I'll pull that flap out and open the top, and we'll pull this here. So we've got evehome.com, and we can open this up. We'll flip this over. There we go. We've got a nice picture on the front and a fan. I think we'll call this a serving suggestion. Open this front up like a book, and there's a little booklet with the HomeKit pairing code there. Total loading maximum at 10 amps for 2300 watts for indoor use only. On the front we see we've got that convenient onboard button, and we can pull the unit itself out of the box here. There's a couple more manuals in this little slot here, and nothing else in the bottom of the box. So the unit is a fair bit chunkier than I had imagined. Shaking it around doesn't seem to make any noises, like there's loose things inside, which is good. Looking down the barrel of these pin slots, I do notice that it looks like this might have some built-in protection, so you can't go and jam a screwdriver in there or something. So the neutral needs to be there, or so the ground needs to be in place before the neutral or the active will slide in, which is good to know. And we've got the pairing code on the side. There's a nice peel off protective layer on the front. The front is fairly shiny in finish. The build quality feels nice. The screw holes have been filled out with a kind of a silicone-y material. And on the back we can see the rating information for input, output, and total load max, which we've more or less covered off already. I will say the onboard button does seem like it's in a fairly convenient place. Okay, so with the physical unit looked at, let's do some actual testing now. So I will plug it in here, and I've just got a standard LED light bulb and this pigtail to the socket that it's in, and I will plug this into the Eve Energy, and there we go, and it's in. And we can use the convenient button, and note that that is also an indicator LED. So with that all plugged in, I'm going to open up the smart home menu here on my iPhone and open up the home app, which I have open on my demo instance of HomeKit, and I'm going to tap the plus button in the top right hand corner and tap add accessory. I now have the camera open and I can scan the pairing code, and it's saying PowerPoint add to Apple Home, which I will do, and it's asking me to make sure it stays connected to power and nearby. Okay, so that did take a couple of minutes to connect, and it's asking me for the location. For now, I'm going to create a new room, and I'm just going to put it in the spare room, and I'll tap continue. And the PowerPoint name, I'm just going to leave it at Eve Energy, and I'll tap continue on there again. And we can display it either as a fan, a light, or a PowerPoint. I'll make it a light for now, and I'll just tap continue. We can add some PowerPoint automations to turn it on when I arrive home or turn it off when I leave home. I'll leave those alone for now and tap continue, and it's added to my demo instance. I'll tap done, and we can see it right there in the spare room. If I tap on that, we now have that we can turn it on and we can turn it off. It is fairly responsive. It's maybe not as responsive as I would like, but it does the job. If we scroll down, we can see the settings for HomeKit. We've got some suggested scenes, and we've got a status here where we can include it in home summaries. We've got the manufacturer, the serial number, the model number, and the firmware version, which is interesting to see, and we can remove the accessory. Now, it seems like we're fairly limited with what we can do inside Apple Home, so let's close Apple Home and open up the Eve for HomeKit app. It's going to ask us to access our home data. I'm going to tap OK, and this has opened up my demo instance, and we see we've got the Eve Energy in the spare room, and it's off. I can tap it, it turns on, and tap it and it turns off again. It does take a moment to get the response back from HomeKit that it is on or off, but that's okay. If I long press on here, we get some context information. Turn on or show in spare room. I'll go show in spare room. And we can see now that we've got power, so on or off. We have a schedule which we can turn on or off, and we can tap the gear next to that to go on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. New event at 3:50 p.m. We want to turn it on. I'll make that 3:51. I'll tap add, and we'll turn that schedule on. It's not letting me turn that schedule on, so I'm not sure what's going on there. So we see in here that to use schedules, we need to have set a location. I'm just going to leave that for now. We can set that location if we wanted to, and it should unlock the schedule. We see that we've got consumption, and if I turn the power on, in a moment we should see that the consumption will update. So we've got 9 watts of consumption there, and it's projecting the cost at $29 a year, and it's just based on the current usage. You can base it on a week, a day, or monthly use there, which is kind of nice. We can see total consumption, which is currently 0 kilowatt hours, and it appears to graph that information as well when it's got enough detail. And the total cost, there's no data available because we've just paired it. And there's automations where we can add rules and scenes. So there's not a whole lot more that we can really do with the Eve Energy, but looking closer at the Eve for HomeKit app, we'll tap settings in the bottom right hand corner here, and we can see that we've got some details here. So we've got general, we're connected to the demo instance home name, the home hub is connected. We can set our electricity rate for our energy cost calculations, which is nice, and we can see our accessories. We've just got the Eve Energy in there just for now. We can allow guest access, and it just gives us an idea of how to do that with the home app. We can create groups, so that helps for Siri to understand which accessories belong together, such as a collection of lights can be grouped together, say as desk lamps. And we've got the thread network, so it would like to find and connect to devices on the local network. I'm going to tap allow on that, and it's found our Apple Thread border router, and also the Eve Energy apparently also can operate as a border router. And the Thread border router is showing as an unknown room. and the role of that is as a leader, and the Eve Energy is showing as a router eligible, sleep interval. There's lots of really good information about our Thread network in here, which is fantastic. There's a link here to buy Eve HomeKit accessories as well. There's Eve news, about and support, and the appearance here. I'll be interested to see about and support. So we've got version 5.7.1, and we've got some privacy and unit settings and Eve support online. So privacy and unit settings, that's just going to take us over to the iPhone settings for Eve, where we can set things like our pressure, our temperature, elevation and volume units of measurement. So looking across the bottom of the Eve for HomeKit app, across the bottom we've got these different tabs. So we've got demo instance, we've got rooms, which we were in the spare room before, seeing the Eve Energy, and we can tap on that Eve Energy and see the full details. We've got the types at the top here as well, so we can see the power and which ones are on if we had more than one. We've got automation, so we can see arrive home, good morning, good night, and leave home are the 4 recommended ones. We've got timers which we can add, so we can add a timer to go either once or repeating, and create rules to automatically trigger scenes under certain conditions. I think we'll understand more about that when we've got some more accessories paired in here. Last thing in the settings here, we've also got appearance, so we can go for normal or dark. I'm going to change the app icon to dark. So that is the Eve Energy Smart Plug with energy monitoring. At 55 Australian dollars, it's not exactly cheap, but Thread connectivity, the build quality, the native HomeKit integration, and the level of polish that I'm seeing in the native app do demonstrate that I'm still getting reasonable value for money. There's also a chance right now that you're watching this video after the 12th of December, when the firmware update for these devices will be coming out to enable Matter support. That Matter support means that we should be able to pair this smart plug with Home Assistant or any other smart home ecosystem, whether that's Amazon Home, Google Home, or Samsung SmartThings. After the 12th of December, I will be filming a follow-up video showing how to do that firmware update, and so that I can demo the process of pairing this device with our Home Assistant instance. So make sure you've got notifications turned on and you're subscribed, so you see when that video comes out and you don't miss it. That is all we have for this video, and I do hope that it helped you in your home automation journey. Be sure to drop a comment down below with a home automation idea you'd like to see me cover in a future video. And don't forget to follow HiveMind Automation on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button down below to give it a like. And if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing now. While you're at it, hit the bell icon and you'll get notified when I release new videos, and that's normally every week. Lastly, if you enjoy what I'm doing here and you want to help to support the channel, there is a Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description down below, and contributions that you make through Buy Me a Coffee will be put towards making more and hopefully better content for you to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Stu from HiveMind Automation, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.